fascist and racist, but we're not. We are
Last year, it looked like race riots were breaking out up and down the country once again. From the trouble sprang a new movement. The English Defence League, known as the EDL.
EDL all way, yeah?
It's an organisation that claims to be non-racist and says it was created to combat one enemy, militant Islam.
Stick your Al-Qaeda up your arse!
I've spent the last 2 months travelling around Britain to EDL demos, meeting the young men joining their cause and trying to find out what motivates them.
We're not Nazis. We're English people, working class. Millions of us out of work. We're not being listened to.
Many claim that the EDL are just right-wing thugs. At EDL demos, violence and racism often overshadowed any political point. Why shouldn't people think they're just the same as the other right-wing groups you've seen in the past?
Listen, I'm not BNP and I'm not racist. That's the main thing. And neither's the EDL.
And there was something different about this new group.
If you look among it, you've got all colours, black, there's even Asian people here. The EDL aren't racist.
So what does the EDL stand for? And just how potent an organisation is it? I wanted to find out if the idea of multicultural Britain was dying. And what was really fueling the rise of the EDL.
We will never surrender!
The English Defence League is just 9 months old, and today the men of the EDL are about to make their most symbolic gesture yet by marching on Parliament. It's a big day for all concerned, but the EDL are nowhere to be seen. So far there are hundreds of police, one police helicopter, quite a few journalists, and only about 4 or 5 EDL-looking members wandering around. But we can hear a crowd somewhere singing "England, England." They may look like football hooligans, but the EDL say they're very different.
You press say we're racist, we're obviously not, are we?
They claim to be non-violent, non-racist, and with a serious political point to make. I wanted to see if this was true. The EDL leadership were determined that the march would go off peacefully. They've even introduced stewards, who were issued with a very particular set of instructions.
We don't want to see anyone doing any Nazi salutes or fingers giving the press cheek, anything like that. We're not here to cause trouble. We're here to peacefully protest. England.
Cheers.
England.
Cheers, boys.
After a few quick pints, the EDL are ready to take their message to the country's seat of power.
Man! Said join the Taliban. I said Bolshevik.
The demo in Westminster was in support of a visit by Geert Wilders, a controversial Dutch MP and filmmaker who has called for a ban on the building of mosques, the wearing of burqas, and all immigration from Muslim countries. It seems strange that young men like Aaron, who would normally spend their free time watching football, would suddenly be on the streets supporting a Dutch MP's right to freedom of speech.
You should explain why you're here today. Well, today Geert Wilders was promoting his video Fitna, which is about stopping the Islamisation of Europe. And we've been marching all over Britain really to stop militant Islam. And basically today we're here to support.
While I was trying to understand the EDL's message, the supporter hit the camera into my producer's face.
Just punched him for no reason. Twat.
And this was them on their best behaviour.
Take your balaclava off me!
While we were carefully led past Parliament, Wilders was inside, screening his provocative film about Islam. The film shows brutal acts of violence committed by extremist Muslims, intercut with quotes from the Quran.
I have nothing against Muslims, I have nothing against any people whatsoever, but I have a problem with the Islamic ideology. I think it's a fascist ideology. I think we should stop the Islamization of our society.
Wherever the EDL go, the UAF are never far behind. United Against Fascism are a collective of groups and individuals who campaign against the extreme right, and in particular the BNP. They say that the EDL are no different, calling them Nazi racist thugs. When 3 black UAF supporters taunt some EDL demonstrators, their reaction was aggressive and racist. One even made monkey noises. The EDL seemed to be no different to the usual far-right groups. But as I walked through the crowd, I began to realise that things weren't quite so straightforward.
People think the EDL is it's not just about Islamic extremism, they say they're racist, so they'll be surprised to see you here.
I'm proving that they're not racist. I'm black and I'm proving that the EDL aren't racist. If you look among it, you've got all colours, black, there's even Asian people here. The EDL aren't racist.
They were especially proud of one particular supporter, Abdul, who had travelled all the way from Glasgow.
Let me in for a few pictures.
Hey, Abdul, you can.
I think everybody here just got fed up with seeing the country getting attacked again and again, more threats, and the people who are doing that are not really Muslims. They call themselves Muslims, but they're extremists, because Islam doesn't teach you to blow up trains and kill anybody and that. So that's why.
Are you Muslim?
Well, I was born and bred as a Muslim, you know, but I'm a Muslim just by name. I'm not practicing or anything, you know.
Even more prominent was Gurmit Singh, who is the face of the EDL leadership.
I'm now standing in front of you as one of the 12 leaders of the English Defence League.
The EDL cite Gurmit as proof they are not racist, but he hadn't quite understood the script.
God bless every single person in this country, of all religions, creeds and cultures. And you know what? Even God bless the Muslims, they'll need it for when they're burning in fucking hell.
That wasn't an attack against militant Islam, the purported target of the demonstration, but against all Muslims.
Everyone move back!
The stewards hadn't stopped the abuse I'd seen, but the EDL had, for the first time, marched non-violently. They even removed some troublemakers, including a steward who had been making abusive gestures in front of the cameras.
No, well, if you want to get on like a fucking idiot, you know what I mean? We don't need idiots here. No, we don't. Leave a protest, mate. Leave a protest.
Peace! Peaceful protest, man!
The English Defence League were clearly trying to change their public image.
Britannia always!
To try and understand the movement better, I went to the town where it all began, Luton. Luton has had a very diverse population for the last 60 years. It's also the town where my family are from. I visited often when I was growing up. So this is Luton town centre, and what happened here in March of last year is what led to the founding of the English Defence League. So we're on our way to meet some of the founding members of the EDL, one of whom was arrested and charged for his reaction to that protest in March last year.
How you doing?
Yeah, good, how you doing?
Yeah, Sam.
EDL members Kevin Carroll and Brian Kelso were amongst the crowd who came to watch the homecoming parade of the Royal Anglian Regiment last year, after their tour in Iraq.
All the uniformed soldiers came down here. The crowds were wall to wall, packed from each side of this, all the way down to the town hall and all the way on. And there was just so much clapping and cheering. The little kids on the shoulders of their parents waving the flags. It was a great atmosphere. It was electric.
And how did both of you feel seeing the troops parading through Luton?
Oh, I tear in my eye, I like it.
You just swell up.
I'm loving it.
You know, you just can't help yourself. It's just, you know what they've done. You know they've just lost men, young men on that tour.
Yeah, on that tour, yeah.
That Pacific tour, and you know
From
they've
Luton
lost
as well.
from Luton Town.
Yeah.
It was such an amazing feeling. You know, you just felt so proud.
The parade was going smoothly until Kevin noticed something strange going on through the viewfinder of his camera.
I saw them through the camera first. I heard the commotion, but I thought it was cheering at first. But then I realised, no, something's not right. When the penny dropped, I looked up and there's the banners. Rapists, butchers of Basra, murderers, terrorists, British government go to hell. And then all of a sudden there was just a massive surge. And the atmosphere was just so charged. They were standing right here and we were trying to get around the back, trying to get into them. We just ran at them, it was all, you know, you fucking wankers, you scum, you know. It was a murderous atmosphere. There was men, women, different colours, creeds, young, old. There was nothing racist about it. There was nothing racist about anything. It was just pure rage, outrage. I mean, it's just a good old-fashioned British punch on the nose, if you like. Not that we're condoning going around punching people on the nose, but, you know, for such an offence, that would have been sufficient justice straight on the nose, you know. And that's just how people felt on the day.
Kevin and Brian, as well as 7 of the Muslim protesters, were charged and convicted with public order offences. All are appealing. The protest against British soldiers got headlines across the world. Under the banner United People of Luton, growing numbers of angry young men took to the streets, and these events were recorded by mobile phone. When they realised that people up and down the country were willing to support them, they went national and changed their name to the English Defence League. I wanted to meet the leadership of the EDL, but it was proving more difficult than I thought. How you doing? Yeah, good. Where? After many phone calls and several no-shows, I was eventually invited to the EDL HQ in Luton to see some of the organisers preparing the banners for their next demonstration. Yeah, so your guys... But there was some reluctance from them about appearing on camera. We're going to wait in our car and someone's going to come and pull up next to us and lead us to the EDL HQ in Luton. white van in front. So there's a car with some EDL members who we haven't met before. But when I got to the warehouse, I get off Office All Faces here. Pull that can away. No one was willing to appear on camera unmasked. All I could film was their banners. I wondered what it was they had to hide. Even when they organised a press conference here last September to announce their arrival, everyone was wearing a balaclava.
We will contest your kindness, as our forefathers did, relentlessly pursuing you in our quest to see all prior banished from our great democratic country. Long live the free.
We've been called as an organisation of far-right racist Nazis. But do we look like far-right racist Nazis? That message that we hate Nazis and we will stand up against Islamic extremists in this country.
So we're just outside Stoke on our way to meet 2 EDL members who have finally agreed to meet us and show us what it is that makes them angry and drove them to join the EDL. In the last 10 years, Stoke has become something of a BNP stronghold. Although 2 councillors lost their seats in the recent election, 5 were re-elected. Some are up here. Oh, here, there's a pub, which is where we're meeting Lee. But strangely, this isn't an idyllic looking village.
Hi,
How you doing? You alright?
Hi, mate.
Yeah, good. How are you?
I'm alright, thank you very much. Yourself?
Lee is 22 years old and unemployed. This looks lovely around here.
Yeah, it's a nice little village.
He doesn't fit the stereotype of a right-wing hooligan.
You know, I've never really had a fight in my life, you know, and I don't plan on it. I'm not that type of person. That wasn't obviously why I joined the EDL.
Like many EDL members, Lee joined up through Facebook, where he met Gaz, who set up the Stoke division last September. Oh, is that him on the motorbike?
Yeah.
Yeah, there he is.
How are you, fella? How are you, mate?
Despite having a trade as a mechanic and having been employed all his working life, Gaz is far from prosperous, or even comfortable.
I went to college for 5 years, mate. I did my diploma and all this mechanicking crap, you know what I mean? And I thought I was going to be rich, mate, you know what I mean? It's not the case. I'm no better off than someone on the dole who's got 2-3 kids.
Their story is common in towns like Stoke, where traditional industries have collapsed and the new ones are employing people with an entirely different set of skills in high-tech industries.
See all these houses here? Yeah. They were all factories here, these were. That one there used to be a big kiln where all these flats were, and that was only in the last 2 years they've done that. This was your booming pub, this was, like all your working lads used to go in there.
So are all the pubs closing down?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's completely...
well, your working class guy can't afford, can they? Muslims don't drink. This was meant to be Great Britain, and it's not great anymore, is it at all? It's shit all. Sad, mate. Real sad it is.
So you're both still very young. What do you think your prospects are?
This is it, isn't it? It's just getting worse and worse and worse. It's not something that's just going to go away. It's only getting worse and worse and worse.
I won't have kids, mate, because I've got no future. My lady's on at me to have kids, mate, and I said there's no way. There's no future, is there? The only way, what you're going to do? Hope they'll move Australia or somewhere like that. That was the land that they bought it for £1. They're favouring on them.
Favouritism, isn't it?
Gaz and Lee believe the land this mosque is being built on was sold for £1.
You're just giving it away, isn't it? I think £1's the least someone can buy a piece of land for, so they just sold it for £1.
Actually, the land has been leased for £1 a year by the local council, not sold. under the condition that a neighbouring community centre for use by all of Stoke's residents must also be built. If it isn't, the lease can be revoked, but the perception of favouritism remains.
This is Shelton, all this is Muslim town really. No, this is like mini Afghanistan around here. This was your working class area, this was factory workers wanted. But it's sad really. Sad to go, innit?
In fact, only 6.5% of the Stoke population is immigrant, mostly Pakistani.
It's not the immigration that I'm annoyed with, it's the mass of that they're actually bringing in. You know, they're bringing in hundreds of thousands of people when there's hundreds of thousands of people, British people, that haven't got a job. So why are they still bringing hundreds of thousands of people in?
Immigration had been one of the key issues in the recent election. I wondered if Gaz and Lee's resentment towards the immigrant population was racist, and were they wrong to expect British jobs for British workers? I asked if they, like many others in Stoke, had ever considered supporting the BNP.
I don't have nothing to do with it, mate.
I don't know much about the BNP, to be honest, I wouldn't vote for them.
I also wondered what their views were of the racist chanting I'd witnessed at EDL demos.
I mean, we've been to 3 demos now, and you do hear songs.
Idiots. But you get these idiot football hooligans or NF lads singing that just because they want to ruckus, isn't it? Like, that's the biggest problem with the EDL. You open your arms to people, don't you? But then you're also open to be getting infiltrated, aren't you, as well? And this is a problem you've got to try and get rid of, but I don't know how you're going to get rid of it either, you know what I mean?
Gaz and Lee seemed to be disaffected young men worried about their futures. They didn't seem like hooligans. So I found it hard to see how they got caught up in one of the EDL's most violent riots here in Stoke, in January this year.
Right, it's time, lads, finish your part and we'll go. Come out the pub, basically.
And we knew that it was going to be a big one.
Yeah. It was good, mate. Good atmosphere and stuff.
Oh.
I thought it was brilliant myself.
This is like football, but it's not football. Come round the corner, it's like walking into an abyss. Police everywhere, kettling us in, pushing us in. That was it then, it was more pushing this way, then it was pushing that way, and people wanted to get out. You know, obviously a lot of people lost the rag then. And then I think that's just when it just kind of kicked off big time.
What would you say is the balance between people who want to turn up and have a fight with someone, and they want to turn up and just, you know, sing the songs you want to sing?
Stoke, I'd say 50-50, wants it like. But that's not what it's about, is it? You know what I mean? The police aren't the enemy at the end of the day. If you've channeled all that energy into something useful, you know, you get somewhere, won't you? You know what I mean? A big shame, Arthur, a big shame was.
This is it. The minute they fucking hit somebody, that's it, they've had it.
It was becoming clear that the EDL were not a unified group of essentially tolerant people, but a ragbag of factions, some of which are more racist and right-wing than others. As this footage recorded by an EDL supporter suggests, it's a confusing picture, even for the EDL.
Oi, don't shout BNP, boys. We're not the BNP. Shut the fuck up like it's EDL, right?
The EDL's next demo was in Bolton. Would the violence continue, or could the political message begin to emerge? Bolton prepared for the EDL. Everyone was advised to stay away. The town centre was effectively on lockdown by the time the EDL arrived.
Cops along the side, along the side. Make sure they don't break the lines.
This isn't even the main group. This is one group we've been told to go to the square now, and this is massive. this is bigger than anything I've seen so far. Much bigger. An American flag, an Israeli flag, an Indian flag, and a rainbow flag. So I'm guessing it's from a gay or lesbian group here with the EDL.
Earlier that day, United Against Fascism members broke police lines and occupied the town square where the EDL was supposed to congregate. Over 50 of them were arrested and removed so that the demo could go ahead.
I am not doing anything wrong, I am a peaceful.
For some, arguments about racism or Islam were irrelevant. It was clear that they were here for much more personal reasons.
I think the UAF are wrong. The way that they shout Nazi, Nazi, Nazi scum at us. We're not Nazis. We're English people. There's nothing here for us, the people and the working class. White English men of this country, a lot of us out of work, millions of us out of work, we're not being listened to. And the mainstream political parties aren't listening to us. We're poor, we're stuck in poverty, it's a poverty trap. All we want is work, and that's all we want. We've got no voice. The country's dying of death. Dying of death. I don't want to say anymore because I'm getting emotional. Do you want to see me cry? Do you want to see a tear roll from this eye? Because that is what will happen.
I saw a familiar face towards the front of the crowd. It was Kevin Carroll from Luton.
What would you say to the UAF who would say, I mean, there's a sign there that says EDL and BNP Nazis?
That's just a funny. That's a funny one, isn't it? Really, 'cause that's rubbish. EDL Nazis. Yeah, right. Just look around you. I don't see any Nazis. I don't know any Nazis.
I had seen and heard racism at every demo I'd been to. Some of the things I'd heard were so offensive that we decided not to broadcast them. And they were offensive to all Muslims, and no one nearby did anything to stop them. I wanted to know how Kevin felt about the hateful language I'd heard.
There are some songs here, you dirty smelly bastards, there are elements here.
Yeah, listen, do you know what it is? I mean, if there is, I haven't seen or heard any myself, but if you can't legislate. It's a free country. If people want to attach themselves, I mean, National Front were at one of the demos, and all the lads towed them up the backside and jogged them on. Because you can't stop them people getting in and mooching around. I'm not a racist, never been a racist. I don't want to associate with racists, so...
You go in.
Can we have all EDL up to the PA system, please? We're about to start the speeches.
Gurumit was still being pushed forward as the respectable face of the EDL and the voice of its leadership. But just a few weeks earlier, he'd been secretly recorded by a national newspaper that quoted him making a highly racist remark. Today, the message was different. He was very keen to claim that the EDL were in fact not racist.
Claim we are racist right-wing bigots, but we all know that they are wrong. There is no room for the British National Party's views and members in this organisation. Their racist opinions are not welcome here, because we are righteous, we are humble, we will be loving and we will be loving and we will be forgiven, yet never forgetting we are warriors. We are protectors of all religions, colours and creeds of this land, because we are the English Defence League.
Despite it being a largely peaceful demo for the EDL, something caused demonstrators to surge towards the front lines. The riot squad was sent out, and they started pushing the EDL away from the town square. Tempers began to fray.
The riot police just started pushing the EDL back.
Fucking dirty bastards! Cheating fuckers! We're getting beaten up! What's the crap? We just want our country back! EDL! EDL! EDL!
Although the EDL leadership say they want peaceful demos, many members don't need much provocation. And there were skirmishes all the way out of Bolton town centre.
Fuck off! This is our town, our town!
Once again, the images on the news that night would not be good, and the violence is all that will be remembered.
TC11, bad fucking dickhead! Dickhead! Fucking wants to have a go with a stick! Let him see without a stick!
If they hadn't already, people up and down the country would be writing off the EDL as the same old hooligans we've seen so many times before. I'm in Nottingham to see Gurmit Singh, who's the only EDL leader so far who's agreed to appear on camera. I just want to ask him why, if the EDL are non-violent and non-racist, as they claim, I've seen violence and racism at every EDL demo I've been to so far. And he himself was secretly recorded recently by the News of the World, making comments that were undeniably racist.
How do you, mate? All right?
Is it, how are you?
How do you, Sam? How you going, mate? All right?
Gurmit is a 28-year-old Indian Sikh, which had made him the perfect face for the EDL. He had eventually agreed to be filmed after many cancellations, but only at a fellow EDL member's house. Tonight, Gurmit was busy doing his homework, researching and writing his next EDL speech.
I'm just doing a bit of research into basically women under Sharia, because they are suppressed under Sharia law. I find it disgusting how they're suppressed so much, especially in this country when they live under the common law. I find it absolutely revolting.
And what would you say to people who said that the EDL are using militant Islam as a kind of legitimate cloak for just classic old school racism?
No, it's not at all. It's
the old thing about...
Our threat isn't against Islam. Obviously, you're going to have your odd dickhead here and there who's going to shout and rear off and even look at me in a disgusting way, you know what I mean? Look at me and think, what's that prick doing on the top table? Well, we don't want these people here, you know what I mean?
At every EDL demo we've been to, there's been some violence and there's been racism.
Yeah.
Every EDL demo.
We don't want these people in our organisation. They're disgusting. They disgust all of us. We're fighting a racist, fascist ideology, so we don't want racists or fascists in our organisation. We'd just be hypocrites then.
The racism and violence we've seen at EDL demos, it hasn't been condemned by the people around it. The stewards haven't come in and grabbed those people. It seems like it's acceptable.
To tell you the truth, I've never seen any racism. I've never seen it once. And I don't believe these chants, when they're saying that, I don't believe it's racist chants. I don't believe they think it's racist, you know what I mean? It's just in their punctuality to just shout out and be insulting, you know what I mean? But I don't believe it's actually racist, them saying that, you know what I mean? They are just...
Gurmit's claim to have never seen any racism at any EDL demo seemed dubious. When at the Westminster demo, I'd heard what sounded like racism coming out of his own mouth, amplified for all by a megaphone.
God bless every single person in this country, of all religions, creeds and cultures. And you know what? Even God bless the Muslims, they'll need it for when they're burning in fucking hell.
The speech you gave at Westminster, you said, God bless the Muslims.
Come on now, no.
God bless the Muslims.
All right, yeah, a big apology.
They're going to need it when they burn in hell.
I know, I messed up big time, right? I messed up big time.
And the whole crowd cheered.
I know,
but what you actually said was, not extremist Muslims or militant Muslims, Muslims.
I know,
burn in hell.
I know, I fucked it up.
And the whole crowd cheered, that's the problem.
I fucked it up big time. 2 days before, that speech was published on the internet, on the English Defence League website. It said, God bless everybody, even the militant Muslims, you'll need it for when you're burning in hell. Now, I missed out that word like a twat, I apologise so much. I felt so bad, you know, because we've got Muslim members and I thought, oh my God, what are they going to think of me? I felt like the biggest twat, I really do. But I believe the people in front of me, yeah, fair enough, they cheered. Half of them couldn't bloody hear us, you know what I mean? Look at that bloody megaphone, it was terrible, you know what I mean?
The fact that the whole crowd cheered it would suggest to a lot of people that large elements of the EDL are against all Muslims, not just militant Muslims.
I mean, this is the thing that you've got to understand as well. People need educating, you know what I mean? Even people of the English Defence League need educating. True members of the English Defence League are against militant Islam. We're against radical Muslims, you know what I mean? That's what we're against. We're not against Muslims.
The EDL insist they don't have a problem with all Muslims, just the extremists. One group in particular seemed to fuel most of their theories about the threat to English culture and identity. Back in Luton's Bury Park, I went to see Saif al-Islam, who used to be the local leader of the militant Islamist group called Al-Muhajirun, before it was banned.
You're just setting up?
Yeah, just setting up.
For Saif, Islam isn't a private spiritual activity, it's an ideology. It alone provides the solution to all the world's problems, and all of the world should adopt it.
But just to be clear, what is the solution to the problems you see?
Islam. Islam is the solution. When I talk about I want to establish Islam, I mean Islam as an authority, as a political system, in the form of the Khilafah. And I believe through this Islamic State, we're going to solve a lot of the problems that we're facing under democracy, under the British government. You got Mama find out about Islam?
But if you had an Islamic State in the UK,
yes.
What would the laws regarding women, for example, be?
Under Islamic State, there'll be certain laws that you'll have to implement. And one of them would be the issue of women covering. One of them would be the issue that we will stop alcohol, we will stop gambling. Whether it be fornication, adultery, we will stop all of these ills that we see of society. People will have to choose to follow the divine law. You'll have to excuse me. I'll give you some about
Saiful wanted the locals to know that he thought real Muslims should only recognise God's law and not man-made law.
How you doing? You alright, yeah? Take a leaflet, inshallah, yeah? It's about the elections, inshallah. Yeah? Make sure you don't engage in the elections, yeah? It's not allowed. Yeah? We as Muslims, we believe in Allah, innit? And He's the legislator. We should stay away from, obviously, their way of life, innit? We should implement our way of life, inshallah. Hey guys, you got Mama? Find out about
The EDL claim that Saiful and the other former members of Al-Muhajirun speak for most Muslims, and that the wider Islamic community generally agrees with what they say, even if they don't admit it publicly. I went to the Islamic Centre in Bury Park to see what a local Muslim community leader had to say about this. In May last year, shortly after the protest against the Royal Anglian Soldiers' homecoming parade, the Islamic Centre was firebombed by 2 white youths who have still not been found.
That's where the firebomb had actually happened, in that room there, and on this side.
The leader of the centre, Abdul Qadir, showed me how powerful the blast had been.
Plaster, but the brick wall had just collapsed completely onto this side here. So whatever they used, very powerful, you know.
So the bomb was thrown through the window?
Yeah, it was thrown through that window. Came through, came in here, and it just exploded here.
And this was just after the protest against the Royal Anglian Soldiers?
Yeah, it was just after that, yeah.
But you still don't know who actually did it?
We know, but, you know, we can't prove it.
Qadir believes the extremists are a catalyst for interracial tension and has banned them from the Islamic Centre.
Wherever they go, they cause mischief. Wherever they go, they cause disunity, they cause, you know, arguments, and they create not just discord amongst the Muslims, but, you know, discord between Muslims and non-Muslims as well. So this is what we have with Al-Muhajirun. You know, they're a small, insignificant, nasty piece of work.
But in the UK, what percentage of Muslims would you say they represent?
They don't represent anybody but themselves. You know, I can't even put a figure to it. We're 0.0.0. what? The vast majority of Muslims disagree with them.
Can I just get your response to one of their claims that the EDL have jumped on? And that's that they want to establish an Islamic State in Britain governed by Sharia.
Okay. Muslims do not go to a land to take over. You know, the EDL, you know, they came out with this statement, in my view, to demonise Muslims, to make Islam look more ugly. They have another agenda. And because of the recession, the problems happening now, they're thinking, look, here these Muslims taking over our jobs, taking over our business. If they weren't here, we'd have jobs and we'd have this and we'd have that. So it goes back to what? It goes back to the old NF, BNP claim that the Pakis are taking the jobs. So let's get them out of the country. That's what it is ultimately. And I do believe the EDL, behind all of this, are just hooligans. They are people that are ex-football hooligans, and they need to be quashed, actually.
Qadir believed that the EDL were fueling the idea that Muslims were getting a much better deal than the white working class. Kevin Carroll certainly seemed to think that this was true. He claims that predominantly Muslim areas like this one enjoy much better facilities and services than his.
State-of-the-art equipment, all safety and all the modern spec and stuff. You can see the money they've spent here, and then you look at what we've got where we live. It's just equal playing field. You know, let's have equality across the board. That's all it is.
And then what, in terms of ethnic makeup, what sort of area is this?
It's predominantly Muslim Asian. And it's not their fault they're getting the parks, it's the people pulling the purse strings. I mean, this should have a park like that, but so should all the other parks. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing wrong with having a park like that, but have one everywhere. Put parks like that in all the areas for everybody. And that's a wrap. Let's fuck off, because I'm fucking really uncomfortable. I couldn't even think straight. Well, my face is a bit thing, and there's people driving could just drive past now and then fucking give me the large one.
He then took me to Farley Hill, the traditionally white working class estate where he grew up.
This is as good as it gets for us. I mean, I think this was probably installed in the 70s. As you can see, it's all the latest state of the art. You know, 2 strings, because we've only got 2 kids in Farley Hill. You know, we just feel like we've been completely abandoned culturally and financially by the council, local government. They haven't got a voice. Every sector of the community in Luton Town is praised and funded and encouraged, except for the English. Now that is outrageous. That has to be fixed.
I met up with local Labour councillor Sian Timoney to see how funding in Luton was allocated.
Okay, we can see that here.
She wanted to show me a new park, just a 5-minute walk away from Kevin's house.
This is the park still being finished, is it?
Yeah, it's being worked on at the moment. You can see where the fencing's going around there.
And this is a short walk from the Farley Hill Community Centre.
Yeah, 5-minute walk, bring you around here. You can see there's loads of kids out here, there's loads of open land. So to say that there's nothing around here is ludicrous, really. This park we're spending almost £100,000 on. You can see that there's some new equipment already started. There's some on the way. They've got the new wooden play area just been added there.
But Kevin hadn't just claimed that there was no investment in Farley Hill. He also believed he knew why.
So Kevin also said that the predominantly Muslim areas are getting much better funding and better services than the traditionally white working class areas.
No, it's entirely untrue. We don't spend our money in the town on any particular areas for any particular group of people. All our parks are being refurbished, updated with new equipment, play equipment for the children, and it's ludicrous to say that we would spend money on one particular area for one particular ethnic group, because it's absolutely untrue.
Kevin's claims looked even more tenuous when I discovered something about his past. During the 2007 local elections, he had nominated the BNP candidate here in Farley Hill. I had to ask him why he would do such a thing, and I wasn't sure how he'd react.
You've said to us in the past that you're not a racist, you don't want to associate with racists, you don't want anything to do with a racist.
No.
Did you nominate a candidate for the BNP in the 2007 local elections?
2006, 2007. Now, I remember this. Is this what the council are saying?
Each candidate has to get 10 nominees, and your name and your address is one of those nominees.
Yeah, I know what they're up to here. Hoodwinked is the word. Right, let me make a quick call and I'll answer that question, right? I want to put this to bed because I'm going to get it put to bed because I don't want to keep coming up because I was more of a victim than All right, love. Yeah, come round to the, if you're back, if you're around the ring. Back here. All right, cheers. Now, I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to insinuate that I'm a racist and I'm a BNP member and what have you. I've never been a member of the BNP. I'm not a racist. In fact, that's quite laughable.
But how can you not be a racist or be against racism and support a candidate for the BNP?
Well, I'll tell you exactly how that happened. Oh, honey. This is my daughter. It's her 21st birthday. You all right, babe? I've got to take her out soon, so I'll answer your questions, then I've got to come take her out and spoil her, yeah? So that's the way it is. So what actually happened was, I was in my house with my family in the back garden doing something. The door rapped. I opened the door. There's a well-dressed couple standing there. I didn't know anything about the BNP. Wasn't interested in politics, really. But the first question I asked them was, are you racist? And they said, no. Now, that's the biggest thing for me. It's obviously, I'm not racist because I'm the son of immigrants and this is my daughter, who I love dearly. I said, OK, that's that out of the way. What can I do for you? So they give you this form. And there's a 10-point list, and it was keep the pound, stay out of Europe, British jobs for British workers, all this stuff that sort of stop mass immigration that you'd have to be a lunatic not to agree with. Yeah, all right, look, sound. Signed it, no problem, there you go. All the best, see you later. But I'm hoodwinked, so I was very angry about that at a later date. Okay.
Anyone non-white can't join the BNP. Back then, anyone non-white wouldn't even be able to join the BNP.
Well, I didn't know any of that. I don't know anything about the BNP because I wasn't into politics and I wasn't into BNP this or whatever BNP. I was just living my life. Listen, I'm not BNP and I'm not racist. That's the main thing. And neither's the EDL.
If people are looking at the EDL and what the EDL are about, and if there were one or two little things, if there was one person doing a Nazi salute, one person singing a racist song, they might be able to say, okay, it's just one person. It doesn't represent the whole lot. But there are so many things, racist songs, violence, racist gestures, you nominating a BNP candidate, why shouldn't people think they're just the same as the other right-wing groups you've seen in the past?
Because you have to use your loaf. In a movement like the EDL, which is non-racist, non-violent, peaceful protesting, you're always going to get the idiot. And because I've been hoodwinked myself, listen, I'm only human. Everybody can be hoodwinked. Me.
Kevin's claim to have been hoodwinked into nominating a local BNP candidate was unconvincing. But perhaps he'd been naive. The EDL's defence against allegations of racism was now familiar. They had non-white supporters, and even family members. But that isn't proof that they aren't racist against Muslims. I joined up with Gaz and Lee from Stoke as they set off for another EDL demo in Dudley. Could the EDL finally demonstrate without the day being marred by violence and racism? The demo was in protest against the building of a new super mosque, but for Gaz and Lee, it also seemed to be about having a good day out. It looked like an EDL demo was the highlight of their social calendar.
You join a division, you travel with the division, that's your lads. It seemed like a bunch of lads who were proud to stand up, chanting, singing songs about England. I like the culture as well, you go out, you meet loads of new people. And it's a nice thing. You don't get that very much anymore.
And what other sort of things happened in your hometown that made you join the EDL?
We're not going to change anything. We're not going to change anything, but you might as well do something, aren't you? Better than sitting in your house and doing fuck all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Ban the burqa and all that, fucking bob on, so it should be done.
Ban the burqa,
so why should they be able to walk round in when we can't walk round, we can't go in with a fucking into a bank with a ski mask over their face or a bike helmet or anything like that, but they can walk in covering all the face with a burqa on. Well,
yeah, we're not racist, we're realistic. We're real, not Nazis, patriots.
As we arrived in Dudley, the police surveillance operation began in earnest.
What are you supposed to do today?
Well, I'll just come day out outside Warrington and sick of the place, to be honest. No, I just want to go have a good drink with my mates, you know what I mean? Everton.
After a presidential-style escorted drive towards Dudley Town Centre, the EDL were dumped onto a dual carriageway that had been closed off for the day.
What's going on?
Fucking basically, I think what the idea is now, the police are going pants in here for a bit. Treat you like fucking animals at the end of the day, don't they? You're not fucking animals, are you?
You dropped us off on a roadside. What's that about?
False imprisonment.
Yeah,
We'll be in the fucking town, mate. We'll be on a fucking dual carriageway.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone just chill, mate.
This is going to be great.
After an hour and a half, the EDL were finally allowed to march down the dual carriageway to their destination. A deserted car park, miles away from the town centre, the general public, and any opposition demonstrators.
We will stand and we will fight, and the English eventually will grant them to the wing, because this is England and our voices will not be dismissed. People of Dudley, this is England and we will not tolerate this bullshit. We will never surrender.
Suddenly, in the middle of the speeches, half the crowd surged to one corner of the car park.
Stop the fucking riot!
Something had triggered their anger.
Record this. Mate, we're with EDL Stoke, we're invited to be in.
No, I know, but it's filming us kicking off, and last thing we want is that on TV. Every demo we get sacked off, and that was our chance to look good. And the police have fucked it up.
The violence and racism came out yet again. I eventually found Gaz and Lee and wondered what they thought of the by now familiar trouble.
That's a disgrace. I feel ashamed, man, to be
What, because of what just happened?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
What's just happened?
Apparently, you've got no control over a demo, have you? You could be in the right frame of mind, and then there's like 300 or 400 people here who just want to cause trouble. Yeah. That's it, you know, you got all these lads here, you know, all these ones on this side of the fence, don't want to cause a problem, want to come here, have a demonstration, all stand together, wave the flags, wave the banners, all chant together, and then you've got people who want to go start charging, trying to break lines. What are they going to do? All they're going to do is break a line, run down there and get arrested. What's the point?
Torn down all the fences surrounding the demo area. There's no UAF here, so there's no provocation. They've now burst through the fences and bushes here and are running up the dual carriageway and running into town, I think. Yes, hundreds of them sprinting into town over there. Look. They can't deny there's a hardcore element and a big element that is coming here for trouble, not for a discussion about militant Islam.
Our covert camera recorded the EDL as they continued into Dudley Town Centre, where they met a large group of Muslims who appeared equally willing to fight.
This is really, really strange to see. It's just not part of England I recognise at all. Completely segregated. Looking up here, it really is two completely separate communities, and today at least, just itching to get at each other's throats.
I had met some EDL members who I didn't think were racist. Some who couldn't care less about militant Islam, but were just angry about where modern Britain had left them. And others who just had nothing better to do on a Saturday afternoon. But I'd also seen countless acts of violence and heard comments and songs that were undeniably racist. And against all Muslims, not just the extremists.
Fucking Muslims!
The English Defence League will not convince anyone that they are a legitimate protest group until those elements are removed completely. The question is, if that happens, how many EDL members would be left?
Up next on BBC Three, we head into late night with our Family Guy double.